What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode. So, I'm back again talking about professional wrestling, one of the main topics on this channel. As we move closer and closer towards probably the biggest WrestleMania of all time, judging by this insanely stacked card, I'm joined by two special guests today. Introducing first from the Sports Agents of Chaos podcast. Welcome, Jurg, to the show, everybody.
Ooh, thank you. Thank you, one and all. Thank you, one and all. I'll be very quick here, but glad to be on another wrestling podcast with my two guys here once again. And I'm excited for us to talk about what you just said, Carmine, the biggest show of the year and maybe one of the biggest of all time.
It definitely has the chance to be that. And the other guest is a guy that you guys have seen in plenty of my videos before. So everybody, welcome Chris to the show.
What's up, guys? Carmine, always a pleasure to be here. An honor, an absolute privilege. Ready to talk some wrestling. Mania season, always a great season. Always exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to have you both on because we like to shoot straight. We don't hold any punches, especially with the WWE and AEW. There's a lot to cover. So this video is strictly going to be our WrestleMania XL predictions. We have a big card, so we're just going to jump right into it. So night one, night two. As of right now, we have about almost 14 matches confirmed, and I set up and I broke down each card specifically for night one and night two to separate them equally. So we're going to go from beginning of the card to the end of the card, and then we'll switch to night two. So for the first match of night one, I have the 6-team ladder match for the double tag team championships. And the reason why I say double is because after WrestleMania, we have no idea if they're going to get split up or not. A lot of great teams in this. You have the New Day, you have a Judgment Day, Miz and R-Truth, and you have Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, but apparently with some reports, you don't know if that's possible. We'll get into that maybe later. And the last team is the New Catch Republic, I believe. Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. This one may come as a shock, but I think the New Day are going to take this. The reason why I say that is because, as I've said before, you don't know what the tag team division is going to look like after this. I think it's time for the Judgment Day to lose the tag team titles. They have elevated them, no question about it. I really don't see the Miz and R-Truth winning it, even though there's reports that, that was the original plan. New Catch Republic, DIY is the other team I forgot. I don't think they're going to do it either. Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, another great tag team, but I would like to see them as rivals. I think Austin Theory has a good face future ahead of him. And the reason to go back to my prediction was the New Day is because they're obviously one of the greatest tag teams, one of the greatest trios of all time. And I feel like if any team is going to officially split up the tag team division, I feel like they're the perfect team to do it. They're both great on the mic. They can both tell Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis, hey, it's time to split these bad boys up. So yeah, for my first pick of the night, it's going to be the New Day. Jurg, let's go ahead with you, and then Chris finishes off.
Wow, a little bit surprised, but when you give that that train of thought with it, Carmine, I don't blame your selection there at all. This is kind of one of the ones where I'm iffy on my prediction, just because I don't see what the plan or future is with the tag team divisions and the belts after Mania. So it's kind of like you could go a number of different ways here. I would not say no to a New Day shout out. So I hope your result happens here, Carmine. But the story, like WWE has proven they love their odd couple / randomly thrown together tag teams getting the belts here. I'll say Miz and Truth win it. It's not going to be that long of a reign at post-Mania. There's a chance they lose it within the next 2-3 weeks after the show happening. It's just a transition thing, realistically, and I think that's probably what they need. And maybe that could also lead into the belt splitting as well, like you said. So I'll have Miz and Truth here. In terms of like MVPs of the match, like just to say who else would perform well, I think this is a chance where Triple H loves his NXT guys, so I could see DIY putting on like a couple big spots or two in this one, just so Triple H can show them out, because I have a feeling we are all expecting at some point DIY is going to get the straps. It's just a matter of when in the future later on this year.
Can I just say how thankful I am that we are finally getting a ladder match at Mania? Like, I mean, I usually talk about this with Carmine. We've been begging for like a ladder match to return at Mania since they took out Money in the Bank, which I don't know. I know Money in the Bank's a great pay-per-view, but man, I kind of miss Money in the Bank at WrestleMania. But Yeah, I'm excited that they actually put like a ladder match at Mania, and the fact that dude, this is gonna be a stacked match. How many? It's like what, 12 wrestlers in the ring at once? Like it's kind of nuts. So yeah, I mean, questionable tag teams in this match. Kind of wish the Creed brothers were in this. Kind of wish the Street Profits were in this as well, but they're feuding with Karrion Cross because that's such a really good feud. It's not just yeah, but uh so I don't know if you guys saw this on Twitter, but a lot of people, I mean, I think the tag team title separation is obviously going to come to fruition after this match. So here's the thing. I think Miz and R-Truth are going to win this one, but I did see like a theory on Twitter that like R-Truth is only going to like pull the Raw tag team titles and forget the SmackDown titles, and then so, like another team will pick the SmackDown titles. And I actually see that happening. I really do, because like there's no other way to logically split the titles. Like if the winner of this match isn't going to want to give up, both titles after just the gruesome ladder match. So I just really think that might be the way they go. So I could see that happening, and I'm going to go with that prediction. So Miz and Truth, unfortunately, win the titles here, the Raw tag team titles. And I think Theory and Waller win the SmackDown titles. I told us to Jurg, I was like, you always need that scumbag team like in the fold here. And you're right. I mean, WWE loves these like little makeshift tag teams, and I could see them being that team. I think Theory benefited a lot from tagging with Waller. I don't know what this rumor is that they might not be in on the ladder match. I don't know why. I think you kind of need both those dudes because they're kind of like they're mid carders, but I think they're like well-known mid-carders. So I think they need to be on the card. So I could see them winning. Yeah, so I have them winning. Yeah, this is like a split, basically. So Miz and R-Truth win the Raw titles. Theory and Waller win the SmackDown titles due to R-Truth's incompetence and comedy act. So yeah, I'm gonna go with that. I don't know how I'd feel about that because there'd be like no definitive winner. But I mean, if it's done right, if the execution's done right, then I'm all for it. I just hope this is a really good match. I think it will be. My general thoughts is that I'm just happy there's a ladder match at Mania, and I'm pretty sure this will start off night one. I'm pretty sure. I mean, WWE loves like those like fast paced matches to kind of set the tone. So yeah, that's where I'm going with.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you with that. I really do think it's going to start off the show. I also agree it's going to be fast paced, good way to get the crowd going for the rest of the card because from what I saw, these nights are going to be pretty long. I think they're going to start at 7, probably won't end until midnight. I did see that report of maybe R-Truth grabbing one of the titles, so that's a good shout on that one. All of us have pretty solid picks. I think it can go either way. I'm definitely looking forward to this. I'm very excited about the ladder match as well. So we're moving right along here to a match that honestly, when it first got announced, I didn't expect it. We got LA Knight versus AJ Styles. I'll be one of the first people to say it. I'm actually looking forward to this match. It has a very good chance of being AJ Styles' best match at Mania so far. His run hasn't been the greatest at Mania, but overall in WWE, it's been pretty amazing. So for this one, I have LA Knight winning. I think based off a prediction I have later in the show, or actually the next match after this, I think they're going to continue to boost up LA Knight. I think AJ Styles definitely, he could take the loss here and still come out looking strong after his recent return. So I know some people were talking about the current build up to this. I necessarily don't have a problem with it, especially since we just seen basically like a Randy Orton Triple H house interference, something like that, where he ran to his house and beat him up in front of his family. I thought that was pretty entertaining. So I haven't had a problem with the build up. It might be a little bit too short, but yeah, I have LA Knight winning this. And Jerry, let's hear what you got.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Carmine. I think for a momentum sake, it needs to be LA Knight. It's been a bit of a cool off since his hot feud with Reigns from the end of last year, and the momentum he had there, and just like the ability to show how much of a star he was, to take advantage of things, to basically you give him a mic and he can go. There's not a lot of guys on this roster that could do that. I think we could probably count just between two hands like who could really do that. So I think a win here for him would be big. AJ, I hate to not give him a win at Mania because there's a couple matches that he really should have won, hindsight 2020. The Jericho one,
Oh God.
edge. And like they're just to have AJ, I think he's only won 1 or 2 single matches at Mania feels wrong. But if it does get LA Knight over, and like you said, Carmine, pending results later on in the card, whether it be from night 1 or night 2, if it sets up him going forward, it's something you have to do. And I think AJ has proven that he's willing to do what has to be done to help things out. And I think this would be a massive, feather in the cap for LA Knight as he continues. And I think it's going to be one of the big tests for Triple H in 2024. Build LA Knight back up with the momentum that he had in late 2023. I think it's cooled off a little bit. This could be the kind of like restart point for that. So I have LA Knight scoring a big win here at Mania. Yeah.
Yeah. Great transition here. I'm gonna go with LA Knight. It would not make sense for me to. It would not make sense to me for AJ to win this match. I think you're right, Jurg. You kind of hit it on the head. Triple H needs to rebuild LA Knight's momentum. You're right. It has cooled off a bit, but I think winning at Mania against AJ Styles, like AJ Styles doesn't need the win, to be honest. To win at Mania against AJ Styles in front of that Philly crowd, and they're going to be hot. So I think that's a perfect way to kind of restart his momentum. I think he has to win here. I think he will win here. It makes no sense for AJ to win. AJ's kind of established. And I also think a loss for AJ would kind of add to the heel run that he looks like he's going to be headed in, because, I mean, obviously LA Knight's the face here, and I think he would kind of be like, not a sore loser, but he would be like, you fans, you guys all love LA Knight and all that shit, and he'll just kind of lean into it a little bit more if he loses. So yeah, the only thing I'm hoping for in this match, I mean, I want LA Knight to win, even though I love AJ. I really hope it's a good match for the sake of AJ's legacy, because he is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. He's definitely on my Mount Rushmore. His track record, not wins or losses, but his track record of quality matches at Mania is actually like pretty weak. Besides the Shane McMahon match, which is actually nuts, actually nuts. Like, that's crazy to me that he hasn't really had a good match besides Shane McMahon. So yeah, he's had some not stinkers, but relatively disappointing and weak matches at Mania. So if this could end up being a decent match, like a really good match for AJ Styles standards, I'm all for it. So yeah, I got LA Knight winning.
Yeah, you would think with someone as great as AJ, his WrestleMania record and basically speaks for itself. I think really his best match has been the Shane McMahon match, and that was his first. Oh, that was his second match because Jericho was his first. That one was a stinker. So I definitely agree with you there. So the reason why I picked LA Knight is because of our next match that I have lined up on this card, which is Logan Paul versus Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton for the United States Championship. I'm picking Logan Paul in this. And the reason why is because I think eventually with LA Knight, like Jurg and Chris alluded to, that I think it's time for LA Knight to be brought back up in terms of booking and stuff like that. I feel like they've been pushing him down just so they can give him that rise up. And I think on an international crowd that they might have in France later this year, might in Germany, I think the crowd is going to be so hyped up on LA Knight that the hate for Logan is going to be completely there. So I think with LA Knight winning and Logan Paul winning, I think this is going to lead up to a match between them two where hopefully LA Knight comes out victorious and defeats Logan for the U.S. Championship. But for this card, I just don't see Kevin Owens and Orton winning this. I think they're in this match just to be on the card. We've seen in recent weeks since Elimination Chamber and stuff like that, this is where they were headed. And I think Logan, he actually hasn't had a win at WrestleMania since he started. So I think this would be a good dominant win over two of the biggest names in WWE history. So I have Logan Paul winning this one. And what do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree. I think Logan Paul wins this. Funny enough, I don't know why LA Knight and AJ Styles aren't in this match. I don't know why you couldn't have made it a 5-way for the US title. I think that's a lot better. I guess they wanted more matches on the card. I think everyone was kind of involved in with Logan. I don't know. I just feel like all 5 of them are viable contenders for the US title. I think you just could have made it like that, and it would have been a really good match too. And I don't think. Yeah, I think this match is going to be good. Carmen, I agree with you. I think this was just a way for Randy and Kevin to get on the card. I don't see KO or Randy Orton winning the US title. I do like your theory that this could lead to an LA Knight versus Logan Paul US title match. I genuinely thought that was gonna be the match for the U.S. title at Mania, but I guess they went a different direction. I don't know why. I also think because this will be the first pay-per-view with the Prime logo in the middle, which my God, bro, I get hyped that it's Mania season, and then I remember that the Prime logo is going to be in the middle of the ring, and then immediately my excitement goes down. I think the fact that it's going to be the first time that the Prime logo is going to be in the middle of the ring, I think it would make sense for Logan to win. I know Mania is all about title changes, and all that, but I don't know. I just can't see him losing yet, especially because his brand's going to be in the middle. So I think it's just good business, good PR for them. And yeah, I don't know if it would do a lot for Randy or Kevin Owens, and I think KO. I kind of want to see KO in the main event scene again, man. I don't know. I want him to kind of move on from this feud, even though it's been a decent feud. But yeah, what do you got, Jurg?
Yeah, I'm with you guys. Let's make it a hat trick of selections, but I have Logan Paul winning this as well. It's just like Carmine said. I think it makes sense if Knight Paul wasn't going to happen at Mania, then it just makes sense to be the post Mania feud to get LA Knight his first championship since he's come to WWE, because I don't even think he won anything in NXT either. So it'd be his first strap in the Big E itself. Kind of like to what you just said, Chris, like even though Mania is traditionally like the time where it's all for changing the belts, I think we might be a little bit surprised. I don't think as many championships are going to change as we might think. Don't want to spoil anything. Of course, we have more predictions to go, but I think we're going to be surprised at who retains their championships this year, because it felt like going into this, Triple H has booked it to where it's fine if a champion were to lose, but there's still way more and arguably a better story to tell for certain champions to keep their title. So, and I think Logan Paul is one of the cases. I think it doesn't really make a lot of sense for him to drop it here in terms of a narrative with Orton or KO, but I think it makes sense with LA Knight. They've had brief interactions before. I think it was on Raw when it happened, and LA Knight and Paul kind of went like shot for shot at one another. Now imagine just a one-on-one feud between the two. Let's make it happen. Logan Paul winning this triple threat match.
It's funny. I actually knew that, Prime was the official drink of WWE, but until Chris just mentioned it, that thought actually completely left my head that
It's
Prime
disgusting.
logo,
It's
that the
disgusting.
that the Prime logo is going to be in the middle of the ring. With all the moments that we're bound to see from now up until whenever this Prime logo ends, which probably won't be for a while.
You think so? Like, why do you say that? Like, why do you think it's not going to be for a while?
I don't know. I'll be honest. I think Logan, since he signed that full-time deal with WWE, and we've seen him more on TV recently and not just doing live pay-per-view or premium live events, that I think that was one of the incentives in the deal where, hey, listen, you can give me the championship, but I want to bring more money to my new thing, my new drink, whatever, maybe shout out his YouTube channel and stuff like that. But also, that's why we're seeing KSI a lot more too, man. I guarantee you he gets part of that deal. He jumped up last WrestleMania. We saw him in the Prime bottle as one of the major spots in the match with Seth Rollins, arguably the biggest spot. You know what I mean? I think that was like a major thing of him signing the full extension deal. Hey, I'm very shocked that it is in the middle of the ring. I thought maybe you would get sponsored by a certain match, similar to what we did with the Slim Jim deal, and
Or just be in the turnbuckles or something. Why is it got to be in the middle,
yeah,
bro?
or maybe even do something like they did with the lights out, like you know what I mean, where like
Yeah.
have it surround the barricade. I thought it would be something like that. I don't know, Jurg, you have something to say?
I was gonna say, like, I don't know if either of you have like taken too much notice of it, but with the different camera angles and the shooting that they're doing now that Kevin Dunn is finally gone, like we're gonna see a lot of the Prime logo, because they're starting to fall in love with like the little drone shot going
Coyote cam type shit. Yeah.
Cams like that, bird's eye view stuff. Like they're going like the Prime bottle. We can't just hope that the guy, whoever wins the match, wins, and they're just raising the title. We're only seeing hard cam. No, we're going to see multiple shots of like overhead bird's eye. Like we're going to see that thing for a good while, unfortunately.
This seems like a UFC thing,
Mhm.
like a TKO thing about like having sponsors in the middle of the ring.
Yeah.
That's one thing about Redacted is that he didn't want either the ring is sacred, so he just said like no sponsors in the ring. But I guess this is the move going forward, because I heard that they were looking for even before they agree with Prime, they were looking for a sponsor for the middle of the ring. And that just sucks, man. I think it's going to take away so many. I hope that it's not the logo that Logan showed at that SmackDown a few weeks ago. I hope if it's just the word Prime, I guess I'll live with it. But if it's the bottle, then we're fucked, because that's just unwatchable. It's gonna make it unwatchable. I hope Triple H kind of knows what he's doing a little bit here. But yeah,
And
what do
I
I know?
and I hope it's also just if they're gonna keep doing that, maybe just a matte black instead of just all the colors because
Yeah,
there's gonna be a lot of major moments because I think it's just supposed to be for live event, like the premium live events.
yeah.
So can you just imagine some of the biggest moments from WrestleMania
That,
on just with the big prime bottle? You're gonna remind yourself of Logan Paul in every single segment.
that Twitter thread was hilarious of
Yeah,
just
that
going,
was
yeah,
but yeah, so if you guys don't have anything else to say about this specific match, we're gonna move on. We have Jimmy Uso versus Jay Uso in a brother versus brother battle. If I'm being completely honest, some of these brother versus brother battles, there's some good ones, there's some bad ones. One that immediately comes to mind, just straight off the hat, was WrestleMania with Matt versus Jeff Hardy. I was kind of bummed Matt Hardy won, if I'm being honest. But then you get great ones like Cody versus Dustin at I think it was All Out, or All In, like the first major AEW show. So that one was pretty great. I have um no difference in opinion here. Like I like both these dudes. I think both of them are probably doing the best work of their career, obviously separately. I eventually think they're going to get back together, but in this one I have Jey Uso winning. I think his run right now, as you can see when he's doing the pumps with the crowd, like he is on another level. They really see this guy as like a main event guy on Monday Night Raw. Um, I think I honestly think that Jimmy winning here would be better, like for the story, just because like Jay's obviously more over. He gets bigger crowd reactions. Jimmy's just like the comedic factor in the bloodline as of right now, similar to what Sami Zayn was when he was in it. So I think Jimmy winning would be like, I guess, better just for his overall character. But I have no question Jay's winning this match. So that's my opinion. What do you guys think?
I think it'll actually be Jimmy winning because
Wow, nice.
it kind of like you said, Carmine, like with your LA Knight pick, and also to an extent with mine, I'm picking Jimmy in part because I think depending on how things go later on in the night, I think there's a big thing they could do here with Jimmy taking the reins on this, and if he can get the win over Jay. Jay's kind of just, and I don't want to say he's necessarily disappointed. Like, obviously, it's the booking and the story they give him and stuff like that. But it's kind of been underwhelming. And like I've seen I'm sure you guys have seen the joke online. It's not main event Jey Uso, it's mid card Jey Uso. It's kind of just like whatever. Ever since he's been on Raw by himself, and I'll just go with Jimmy winning here because I think there's something they could do with that more so than like Jay. Like the win doesn't do anything necessarily here. You could just like have him challenge someone, win or loss after Mania. Whereas with Jimmy, I think there's something very creative here that you could do that I'll circle back to when it comes to match later on in our predictions. So I'll just go with Jimmy. And the fact when they do these brother versus brother matches, like real life brother versus brother matches at Mania, the heel is always winning these because Owen beat Brett at 10 and Matt beat Jeff at 25. So you know what? The heel wins in this one too.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Jay on this one. I think this should be a one-off, by the way. Let's not continue this story. I think this story was started at SummerSlam way too early. It made no sense. I mean, I'm all for it. It gives them both something to do. I think Jay is way too over right now. I think that Philly crowd is going to be hot with his entrance, especially. Have Jay win it. I mean, I agree with you, Jurg. I mean, he's a little bit like upper mid card Jay Uso, but he has main event at some shows. I'm not gonna lie, so you got to give him credit there. But I don't know, like I don't know where you go with Jimmy if he does win, right? I think with Jay, he has momentum. I think beat Jimmy here, and then maybe feud for the IC title, right? I mean, I think that's what it is. I don't know. I would give Jay his moment here. You're right though. I think WWE is very weird with like the heels winning these feuds, but because I think this could be a one-off feud and it's over after that, then I could see Jay winning, and I think it will be a one-off feud. So I do have Jay winning. I feel like that was a redacted type of ideology. The heels got to win, for some reason. So I don't know. I'm just gonna go with Jay. I just feel good about that pick.
Yeah, I definitely think that the heel winning was always a previous owner's idea. And, I think recently we've seen, just like you guys were talking about the camera angle before, these camera angles and new graphics we've seen recently are just amazing. I think it brings a lot more eyes. I think it brings a lot more, I guess, difference of what we used to see, because we didn't see these long shots from the stage all the way down to the ring. We didn't see these long shots from the ring going to backstage area where it turns into an immediate interview to another wrestler. I think this is probably some of the best camera working graphics we've seen in at least a decade. And
Ever.
A long time.
Yeah, so I'm definitely excited to see where this goes from here. Both points are good. You know, Jimmy can definitely use the win. Jay can turn this win and go into another feud for the IC title, or maybe even, you know, a prediction that I have later on as well. Maybe it can go into a feud with this person. So, I think right now we're speaking of another title match. We're going right into the women's championship with Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch. Now, with this one, you know, I've seen a lot of people talk about how great Becky Lynch is. She just came out with a book, so she's on this like this big run of where she's getting all this media attention and then winning a new championship while going on the book tour, bring a lot more eyes to the WWE. Believe me, when it comes to media attention, social media, and everything like that, I totally understand where they're coming from. But when you're talking about wrestling and WWE in particular, I think Rhea Ripley, she should win this match 100%. Last year, when she beat Charlotte, that was a monumental win in her career, coming off of that loss from Charlotte a couple of years ago when she lost the NXT title. So her getting that rematch, her winning, that was fantastic. Now beating another one of the four horsewomen in Becky Lynch at WrestleMania in Philly, with, like Chris alluded to earlier, with how hot that Philadelphia crowd is going to be. I think the whole crowd is going to be behind Rhea. We've seen Rhea get more over since joining the Judgment Day than ever before. We have crowds chanting mommy. We have kids wanting to be her and stuff like that. I think Rhea's on the generational run right now, and I definitely think that she should come out of this match with the victory.
Yeah, I'm with you, Carmine. I'm gonna go with Rhea here. I think should be a really good match. I think this could honestly, you know, it's Rhea versus Charlotte is a high bar to surpass, because I think that's one of the greatest women's matches ever.
It was fantastic.
It was phenomenal. I think this has the potential to surpass it, but it's, you know, it's going to take a lot to surpass that match. But I'm going to go with Rhea as well. I think she needs this W to kind of add some importance to her title reign, because obviously, like, there's been the discourse online that it's just like her reign hasn't been that great because, like, you know, she's not really focused. She had the Judgment Day shit. It's just like, you know, you're not beating any viable opponents, this and that, which I kind of understand. But I do think to add some legitimacy to her title reign, a W against Becky Lynch is mandatory in my opinion. And I don't know, like, it's kind of crazy. It's good, bro. It's a year since she's won the title, a year. So
it doesn't feel like that at all.
At all.
Yeah, at all.
And so a part of that is booking. But it's tough because, like, she's such a dominant figure that, like, how do you, like, who does she lose to, right? And I guess Becky is someone that, like, you could believe that she would lose to. I don't know. I just don't see it yet. I think you're right. I think Philly is going to be fully behind Rhea here. It's just, uh, does Becky really need it now? I don't know. And I don't know if Becky is necessarily ready to go into the putting over young talent phase. And I don't necessarily know if it's about putting Rhea over as opposed to Rhea just kind of needing this, bro. Like, she doesn't need to be put over because Rhea's Rhea. She's already established. And I think she's going to go down as like a top 5, maybe even top 3 women's wrestler of all time, possibly. Yeah. I just think for the legitimacy of that woman's title, she kind of needs it. I think it's more so the title than Rhea. But yeah, I just got to go. I'm going with her. I'm going with Rhea. And because she's gonna win here, I don't know when she would lose it. Jurg, if you have, like, that's like a bonus question, but, like, what, I mean, it also depends on where your answer could be for this match. But, like, if she does win, like, where do you see her dropping in? Because, like, it can't be in a B show or a C show. Like, it has to be what, like, maybe SummerSlam, maybe.
Yeah,
what do you think?
It's getting to a point, and this is one of the flaws in Triple H's booking, that he really, really likes these long title reigns. And it becomes an issue where it's unacceptable for how you've built this person to lose at anything that's not one of the big 4 pay-per-views.
Yeah.
It's almost even getting to a point where it needs to be like the quote-unquote right big 4 pay-per-view. So that's this is not well, I mean, there are things we could criticize him about, but this isn't necessarily a go at Triple H's thing here. This is just in general. I mean, this to an extent started before him with one of these reigns in particular, but like he's shown this from his NXT days, NXT UK. Like every single NXT UK champion basically had like 600, 700, 800 day reigns. He had, you know, the longest NXT title reign, longest NXT women's title reign, or now second longest actually, I think, or whatever it was. Like he loves these long title reigns, and I think Triple H, that's something you got to get better at. But irregardless, this is one of those things where I could see the other side of it. I could see a chance that Becky gets this win here because you're kind of right, Chris. You're in this odd spot at Becky's career where it's not time for her to just put people over fully and just her to lose. But are you confident that she could have one more good run? Now, the answer to that second question is yes. And so I actually wouldn't be against the idea of Becky taking the win here.
Does she turn heel if she wins, Jurg?
It doesn't necessarily need to be U-turn her here, although it could be cool because let's be real here. The last two times they tried to turn her heel, the crowds just cheered her as a face again.
It's happening to Rhea too now. That's crazy.
That's more of a wrestling fan thing.
Yeah.
Jesus Lord, you people are horrible. But like, I think that Becky winning may not necessarily turn her a heel right away. Well, in Philly it will be, but I think it could be the thing you need of finally separating Rhea from the Judgment Day, and you can put Rhea on this quest to regain the championship. And you can kind of have Becky later down the line in a rematch at SummerSlam to where Becky calls her out for the fact that she lost sight of what the most important thing in the world was, and that was being the champion and carrying the division, which, like you said, Chris, like that's one of the ways that you can meld in the discourse of what fans talk about in real life and not let it overrun your story and be a distraction. That's something you can do that it actually matters. And Becky, I think, is probably the only woman who could like pull that off in terms of a legitimate opponent for Rhea. Because like you said, Chris, now let me say this. My official prediction is Rhea winning. But it's not by a lot. Like it needs to be
not by a lot.
No, I know it's funny to say that because like this is not like a 5-point game I'm talking about here. But I could see the finish of this match being Becky has the disarmer, and if you want to have Rhea be powerful, Rhea just lifts Becky up from the disarmer and gives her the riptide. Like that'd be an extremely dope way to do it. Now, is it going to be that? Probably not. If it is, you know, I'll take my check in the mail, Triple H. But
I like that Jurg's book and finishes now.
Thank you. I try. And we assume, you know, the three of us having Rhea winning, Chris. Like to your second question of when does she lose it? I don't know. And who does she lose it to? I also don't know, because I think arguably the biggest failing of Triple H so far is that he's amazing at his main champions. But he can it's a struggle with him with booking the rest of the division and mid card out. Like aside from all his male champions, a lot of the guys, it kind of feels like week to week, you just kind of throwing them there. The women's division has amazing star potential, but it's
not enough stars.
It's not enough stars, and if they're not involved in one of the 2 or 3 main stories, they just exist, or they're being yelled at randomly by other women in the middle of doing a move on Raw, which was a terrible, terrible decision. Why did you do that? But I don't know if Rhea doesn't lose this here. She's probably keeping it until SummerSlam.
It's got like the only person and she's on SmackDown that I
know
think
who you're gonna say.
It's Bianca, right?
Oh,
I
thought
go Jade.
I thought you were gonna go Liv there.
I was gonna say I think Liv. Yeah,
no,
just because Liv has been around. Liv had that storyline with Rhea for a long time. They were a tag team. You could see over the past couple of weeks that Liv is getting, since she came back from that injury and whatever else happened. I honestly thought they were going to go Nia and Liv as like a pre-show match or something like that to like try to like book the star power up, because like you said, there's a lot of stars on Raw, but you need to like up them a little bit more. I think Liv, to go back to what Jurg was saying, I think Liv would be the perfect person just to take it off, because Triple H does love history. He may not know how to book them and capitalize on it, just like LA Knight and who else, other people we talked about before. But to me, I think this is leading to Liv winning and potentially an international show where the crowd would hype her up. You know, there'd be a lot of fan support. Liv has one of the best,
fan base
stands. Yeah, when it comes to stands, that's why I didn't mean to say best. Maybe she has one of the best.
Chris, you and I are 2 of them. Let's not.
So no. Here's the thing. Because I agree with you, Carmen. So it's funny you guys bring this up, because in terms of the believability of who could take the title off her, I would think it's Bianca, right? But I mean, they're
Okay.
both on separate bands here. I just don't see that happening. That's a Mania type of match. That's
Yeah.
the thing. The thing is with Liv, I think the story's there, and I do agree with you guys. I had her in mind in terms of like who would take the title off her, and it would kind of be like one of those small package roll of victories from her because like it's like a David versus Goliath thing. And
Yeah.
I am a huge Liv Morgan fan. I actually think she's very good in the ring. But I know she's had a polarizing response as of late. Unfortunately, I actually don't think she's going to be on the Mania card this year. I just don't know where you could put her. And I do feel bad.
Which is fine. At the end of the day, not everyone can make it. Like she was
Yeah.
out for too long to deserve it. Like I hate this culture of but they didn't get on the card. Okay, they didn't deserve it. Like
No,
you need to
I agree
deserve
with you,
it.
Jurg. It's like, yeah, you just gotta. That's a. It's also you think, but also, she was top 2 at the Rumble, like final 2, and it's just like she's kind of involved from the outside in this Rhea Becky storyline. You do a lot of flirting, and you don't really execute. The
That's
thing
similar to
is,
the Chad Gable thing with Sami
oh
Zayn.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And that one I don't understand, but we'll talk about that. I also the thing is with Liv, you guys talk about the fan support in an international show. I think Rhea gets the fan support in an international show. I don't think Liv has she has a fan base for sure. They're not as vocal as like the Rhea stands. I don't
Mhm.
think she has. I think she's very divided. Actually, Liv. I don't know. I just Rhea would 100% be the baby face, bro. Liv got booed when she eliminated Tiffany Stratton. Like, what do we? I don't know. I just don't.
I mean, it could
It's a
just have
tough
been that
stitch.
crowd. Like
It's a tough stitch. I don't know where they go from here, but yeah, Rhea wins.
yeah.
I think that going back to what we said about Becky, because this match is about Becky versus Rhea, right? I think the best way, if they want to capitalize this, and I know Becky is such like a polarizing figure, but like if they did want to do a double turn, you know what I mean? They could do something where like Becky cheats to win. The crowd is, like Chris said, the crowd's obviously going to be behind Rhea the entire
It's
night,
a smart crowd, yeah.
just like they've been behind her since like they see every single week on Raw, right? So if they want to do a double turn, eventually turn Rhea face, because that's where it looks like the Judgment Day may look like it's splitting up somewhat soon.
I hope so.
So you don't like the Judgment Day?
Bro, we're done here. I mean, we've like the Flames kind of done. Like I don't know what else they have to offer. I think
You know what's
everyone should go their own
you know what's
ways.
crazy? That thing started when Edge was still in WWE.
Good for
And like,
them. They've
it's
lasted
pretty
this
crazy.
long.
They capitalized on it with they had R-Truth, they added JD McDonough, but nonetheless. So I think if they want to do that, they could do something where Becky gets a sneaky win, capitalizes that. That's the only way I can see her winning the championship, because
Yeah.
if not, there's going to be I'm not going to say obviously there's going to be a riot in Philly, but that crowd will not be happy, which in turn is going to be like, oh man, the fans hate Becky now. No, if they want to do it smart, they would have her win in like a cheeky way. You know what I mean? Hit her with something, not a low blow, obviously, but like a chair or something that ref gets knocked out. They could do something smart. They've done it before.
Can I give one counterpoint about the crowd thing real quick
Yeah,
before we
go
move
ahead.
on? We got to remember this is Mania with several between 2 nights, 100,000 plus people.
Mhm.
It's not just going to be Philly people. We have a lot of international people. We
yeah.
have a lot of people coming in from around the U.S., Canada, etc. Like there would be people upset if Rhea loses, but like Becky is to the point where if someone would beat Rhea, Becky is more than
Yeah.
understandable. I think like if you're gonna let a Becky win here upset you that much, just walk away from wrestling, sunshine, because you're not going to be able to take whatever else happens on any cards going forward. Like, come on now.
This match right here has 2 international superstars, and I think the crowd is just going to be hot this whole match.
Yeah,
Like,
it might be 50-50 to start, but I think
yeah, like I mean, it might be like a Hogan Rock situation where they're both
Yeah.
looking at the crowd, and the crowds would be insane. I have no doubt the match is going to be good. But I'm very much looking forward to this. I really am. It's probably my favorite women's match out of this whole card.
Yep.
And we'll talk about the rest of the women's matches later.
Mhm.
So we're at the end of night 1 here. We've reached the main event where we have The Rock returning after a very long hiatus, teaming with his cousin Roman Reigns to verse Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. Now, this match, let's talk about this for a quick second here. When The Rock returned, I'm just like everybody else, I immediately thought they were going Rock and Roman. That was what it set it up to be. I was very excited because I knew Roman was going to retain. There was no way Rock was bringing that championship to Hollywood. We're filming this on Easter Sunday. Happy Easter to everybody who celebrates it. So now this match, the storyline between this match has very much turned into Rock versus Cody. Roman has taken a back seat. Rollins has taken a back seat. Drew McIntyre has definitely taken a back seat in this, because I just don't like the fact that Rollins is competing twice. I don't like everybody else competing twice. I feel like it kind of takes away from the main events and the championships themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But the main event of this, let me just say this point blank. I have The Rock and Roman winning this match. I do not see it being a normal one-on-one night 2 WrestleMania main event. I don't see that happening whatsoever. I don't know what the finish is going to be for this match, and I'm actually very happy I don't, because the thing with Triple H is WWE, and I wonder if you guys will agree with this. There's been a lot more unpredictability. We didn't know who was entering the Royal Rumble, both men and women. We seen Jordan Grace from TNA. We had Andrade coming back. We had a great Royal Rumble. The music choices that has to be addressed in a different video, but I'm very excited because this past Monday Night on Raw, for the people that caught it, The Rock absolutely destroyed Cody in the parking lot. We haven't seen something like that in a very, very long time. We saw the post-match or the post-show with The Rock just going off on the producers, stuff like that. It just feels more intense, feels way more real than it has ever before. I would love to get your guys' take on what you think is going to happen. So my prediction is The Rock and Roman Reigns walking out of night 1. Big questions going into night 2. So what do you guys think?
Okay. Yeah, man. This is I wish this was Punk versus Rollins so bad, man. I hate this. I don't hate it cuz like it's going to be a good tag team match. To start off, Carmen, I'm with you. I do not like the double duty that Rollins has to go through because he has a fucked up knee.
Yeah, not to mention he just came off of that injury where we were scared he was going to miss the whole show.
Yeah. But you know him, like he's rehabbed quick before. I don't like a double duty on someone who has a torn MCL that's like not surgically repaired. But he's a workhorse. I get it. But you're right though. I feel like having dudes twice at Mania, like performers performing twice at Mania, does take away a little bit from the next night. But I guess it's the way to get The Rock involved. But yeah, thank God they pivoted here because I did not want to see Rock versus Roman. Next year probably is going to be the move, but yeah, in terms of this match, I gotta go with Rock and Roman winning this off a plethora of shenanigans. You just know it's going to be overbooked, and this is one of the only times where I will be okay with the overbooking. Yeah, I don't know how they would lose, but I just know I'm gonna go with the Rock Roman here. I'm assuming your guys's Jimmy and Jay result has a little bit of influence on this match as well, or if this match has influence on that result. But yeah, I think it's been a Cody versus Rock feud this whole entire time. And maybe that should have been the main event, to be honest. I think they have been carrying this feud. I think it's funny enough, the two homegrown talents that the WWE has produced in Rollins and Reigns. I mean, I guess you could make the case for Rollins, but like they're kind of taking a backseat here. At first I thought Rollins was the ultimate, guy taking a backseat, but now I think it's Roman. And that's crazy. The lack of aura this man has next to The Rock is insane. Now, I know The Rock's The Rock, and I think anyone would pale in comparison, but I think Cody has kind of stood his ground here. And I don't know, man. Roman is supporting character to up the wazoo here, bro. And I think it's not the best look. I think you could play into it when The Rock betrays him night 2, possibly, if you go down that route. I might have just spoiled my predictions there. But yeah, I think Rock and Roman are going to be at Raw tomorrow. Roman's going to do something because this is kind of embarrassing. It's really embarrassing. I do agree with you, Carmine. Raw had one of the best endings where The Rock just smoked Cody Rhodes. I hope this is a good match. I hope The Rock is in good physical. I hope he's in good physical shape to withstand this match. I know it's a tag team match, so it'll be a little bit easier on him where Roman could do most of the heavy lifting, but because there's going to be shenanigans and whatnot, I think he'll be fine. I hope Rollins will be fine, But again, Cody will be there to do some of the heavy lifting. I just hope it's a decent match. But this is one of those instances, and Jurg, you could tell me if you agree, where it's just like the spectacle supersedes the actual match itself, and you just kind of don't mind what happens. Because I'm sure, you know, there's gonna be outside, interferences and all of that. But like, as long as it makes sense, the result, and in terms of like what happens, and there's logistical execution. That's one thing I could appreciate with Triple H. His booking is that there's some logistical execution and just logical decisions happening. May not agree with them, but like if as long as there's logic behind them, I'm fine with it. But I just have Rock and Roman winning this one. And I also don't see. I see the rumors that like Seth might turn heel. I don't see that happening. I just don't. I just think they'll just be backed into a corner and they'll lose with all odds stacked against them type shit.
Jurg, let me say this really quick, Chris. I don't mean to cut you off. I just want to say this last point is that you were saying that Roman feels like the side character. I feel like this is where the story was going because The Rock wouldn't call himself the final boss, right? If this wasn't the whole story. I think Roman, and there's pictures of Paul Heyman and Solo realizing, I think this is the story where like they're starting to notice that, even though Roman's the tribal chief, he's the guy, that The Rock is still the main guy. And I think that's what's really going to mess them up in the end, where, like you said, I think we are going to get Rock versus Roman next year. But basically, this whole main event is just setting us up for night 2. Anything past the Rhea versus Becky match, obviously there's implications, but you can kind of count this match as a dud. You know what I mean? Because it's like Rollins' big match is night 2, Cody's big match is night 2, and so is Roman. This big match right here is basically essentially just for The Rock. Yep. That's all it is. Because this match has big implications for night 2. Like, that's all it is. This is The Rock's main event. Nobody else. That's why I guess the whole final boss mantra is just all about him. So, Jurg, go ahead.
I'll be relatively brief here. Rock Roman win this. I don't think there's any other reason. Kind of like you guys said in terms of protecting those that need to be protected. I think that they're going to do a good enough job of it because Seth and Cody and Roman are all having to pull double duty the next night. Yeah. And like you said, Chris, this is more spectacle over match. I'm cool with that because, like, how many of the top 10 to 15 WrestleMania matches, if you start to put a list together, how many of them realistically, like, it's the spectacle and the personalities before the work of the quote unquote, like, the stuff in the ring? Like Hogan Rock, that's the spectacle first. It was a solid enough match, but it's spectacle first, match second. Stone Cold and Rock, let's be real here. The matches were good, but it's the two biggest names of that era going against each other at 3 different times. Like, I'm cool with that. I'm sick of this work rate stuff. I don't want to see 15 Canadian destroyers in a row. I want to see Cody and Rock go hit for hit. Cody with the bionic elbow and Rock with the little look back at his palm before he's like, I want that. This is going to be arguably the biggest match of the year just based off of the star power.
Yeah.
And nothing this year will overcome it. It doesn't matter how much you like your other wrestlers. This is going to be the biggest match of the year, hands down. So like I said, Rock versus Roman is going to end up winning this match. I don't think, like you mentioned the idea, Chris, is because like this was the initial theory about a month back of like, could Seth turn on Cody? I think it doesn't make any sense for 2 reasons. One, because you have the match against Drew tomorrow. You're going to have 2 heels against each other.
Yes.
Like 2 heels against each other, 2 faces against each other. Those matches just don't work. Give me a heel, give me a face. And so you need to keep Seth face for that reason. And also, I feel like they've made like a reference to that too many times.
Yeah.
To where it would fall flat.
Yeah.
You know, like there are certain times where if you're subtle with it and fine with it, it's fine. But they've said multiple times here where Roman's like, hey, you think you could trust Seth Rollins? I'm like, I don't think we have a choice here at this point. You keep beating it over the head, like our head with it. So
you can definitely trust him now.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, I think, like you guys said, it's going to be about trying to overcome the odds and, Jimmy coming in and Solo coming in and even have Paul Heyman like hold someone's leg on the, he's big enough to where he'll hold them down to where they can't make the tag. I don't know. Like it's going to be having the odds stacked against them going against the bloodline as a whole. So I think that's the simplicity of it. Rock and Roman win. The one thing I'll disagree with, Chris, is here's why I don't think it's been a bad thing for Roman to where it's mainly been a Rock Cody thing. Because we already saw Roman versus Cody build up. We already saw that last year. And you ruined it by the result you had last year. I think they did the smart thing of keeping the interactions between Cody and Roman very limited. I think they had the very simple thing on SmackDown where they just aired their grievances to one another and they took their shots at one another and they made it clear. And Cody tried to offer him the handshake again. And Roman looked at him like, I'm not shaking your goddamn hand. Like, I think it's been fine because at the end of the day, the reason why Cody versus Rock, it makes sense to build this stuff up is because that's the crux of the story. And this is where Triple H, like, this is the growing pains of it. You like the whole idea of the story is that Rock pulled the wool over Cody's eyes to make him think letting him face Roman was the right thing. And then Cody is like, no, hold on. I'm not going to let you trick me like that. Now, they did not execute that perfectly.
At
all. But that's the idea behind it. So because of that, and look, I understand I'm grasping at straws here, but we're wrestling fans. We kind of have to do that. That's why I've been cool with it at the end of the day. At the end of the day, the Roman Reigns is going to be the main event in night one. Roman Reigns is going to be the main event in night two, and Roman Reigns is going to main event next year's WrestleMania. His importance is not diminished in any way, shape, or form. And this, I think, is all just leading to the eventual fallout after night two, the next year long of storytelling they have to do. Fine and better to me. I think I'm totally cool with it because, dude, we already seen Cody Roman. You screwed it up last year. And now this is just a way to add a different take to it. I think it's been fine. I think it's totally been fine.
The issue with that, Jurg, is that, and I agree with you. It's like you're not going to tread the same waters with them. I think it's more so because, like, if you want to, they have been trying to build Roman as like the quote greatest of all time. I don't think anyone believes that in the slightest.
No, that's what Paul Heyman will say that about every single. I bet you if you went back to a promo from like 6, 7, 8 years ago.
For sure.
He called Curtis Axel the best Intercontinental Champion of all time.
But I'm just saying WWE in general is just kind of shoving Roman down our throats as like a top. I don't even think he's top 10 all time. I'm not even close. But you can't build him up and then just like he is, and going into the biggest show of the year, he's not even like the second thought. Like, bro, for both nights, like it's just. I understand he's going to be in the main event for both nights, but it's just like everyone's talking about Cody and Rock. It's just like he's not even a thought, and he's just like he's your guy. He's your main guy. You've built the title up for this long, this title reign up, and I don't. You know what it is? I don't think it's anyone's fault. I just think The Rock is The Rock. I think anyone in that position would have been like, would have faltered a bit, and not willingly here, but it's The Rock. Like. He's just him. The charisma kind of overshadows everything, right? I don't know, man. I just think maybe if you just involved Roman a little more, I wouldn't be thinking this as much. I think if you show like, and they try to compensate for it. I don't know if you guys saw SmackDown, but like, Paul Heyman is just like, yeah, Rock beat up Cody at Raw, and he's like, it's because the tribal chief told him to. I'm like, okay, guys, sure. I mean, it's just they know that he looks kind of like a bitch in this scenario, and I don't know, man. It's something that just comes with the territory if you're going to include The Rock, but I also don't think he's doing himself any favors just by being part-time, but just not being there most of the time, dude. I don't know, man. It's just. Dude want to be part-time? You're not there full-time? Well, all right, then. When The Rock comes in, you take a back seat. And sorry,
I don't think he's not complaining about it, though. Like,
but that's a bad thing, though, in his, like, when you're in his shoes. This is why, man, Cena's the last of a dying breed, bro. Yeah. This is why. Yeah, that's how I feel about it. We can move on tonight, too. But, I got Rock. It was a hat trick for Rock and Roman.
Yeah. I don't think there's any way to make it make sense for the next night if Cody and Seth win.
100%.
Out of the 6 matches for night one, we each agreed 4 out of the 6. Which, I feel like that was pretty given. Night 2 may be a little bit different. Yeah. Let me just end night 1 on this. It's going to be very interesting because Roman's even said it. He is a part-timer now. Rock's, I don't even know if you want to consider him a part-timer just because after WrestleMania, we don't know the next time we'll see him.
Probably next Mania.
That's what I'm saying, though. Next Mania around, I think he might be doing the same thing where he might be in Raw and SmackDown, the first or like the last month going towards WrestleMania. So 2 part-timers main eventing night 1, perhaps, because I don't think Roman's going to have the championship by next year.
Thank fuck.
So it's going to be very interesting to see if that actually does main event or maybe start off the show, just like our first match of night 2, which I put as Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre. I think since the main event, the Undisputed Championship is closing in night 2, without a doubt, I think Rollins and McIntyre needs to open the show because if Rock and Roman versus Cody and Rollins didn't main event night one. Personally, I probably would have had Io versus Bayley just because Bayley won the Rumble. You want to up this women's division. Last year, I think it should have been Rhea and Charlotte. I know some people disagree because how good that storyline with the Bloodline and KO and Sammy was. Believe me, I get that. But if you want to see how important the Royal Rumble match actually is, like we've seen in previous years prior, I think Bayley and Io should have main evented, but Rock is Rock, Roman is Roman, and I understand why it hasn't. Now, going back to the first match of night two, Rollins and McIntyre. I may be out on a limb here, but I think this is McIntyre's time. I'm praying he wins this match. I think after Drew wins this match, I think Rollins should take some time off. And I agree with Chris. I don't think he's going to turn heel night one because, like Jurg said, heel versus heel doesn't make sense. I don't want to see that, especially for a big world title match as important as this one, where we've seen it also, man. Like recently, for all the people that watch Monday Night Raw, the same show as Rock and Cody ended it. We saw how great that triple threat just segment was between Punk, McIntyre, and Rollins. It was phenomenal. It was amazing.
Best Raw segment in like a decade. Like, geez, it was so good.
That was one of the best Monday Night Raws for as long as I can remember. At least 2023 there was no Raw better than the one we just previously saw. Like in my opinion, at least. I think with CM Punk on commentary, it's going to have a lot of questions as to, oh man, is Punk going to screw over Rollins, screw over McIntyre? Honestly, I don't think that's the case. I don't even think he's going to get involved. Maybe with a stare down, but physically intervene, I don't see that happening. I just think McIntyre, I think he deserves it because, like, if you want to talk about how different his matches are from everybody else, like Jurg said before, we don't want to see all these Canadian destroyers. We want to see storytelling and stuff like that. I'll take a Canadian destroyer, but not like 8 of them in the same match. But I think McIntyre deserves it after that pandemic run that he had. He basically put the whole company on his back when Roman wasn't around for health reasons. So overall, I think Drew McIntyre definitely deserves it. I think he's going to win it and finally do it at WrestleMania in front of all these live fans.
I'll keep it simple because I feel like we have a lot to talk about with some of these other matches. Drew wins this straight out. It's going to be a good one. I think this is going to be a solid match. It doesn't need to go too long because like Seth is going to be the walking wounded at this point. Give Drew his win. And like Carmine said, you could continue to tell the story afterwards where like now, even though Drew has achieved this moment, have him beat up Seth after the match, just like go overboard and give Seth all the time off in the world. Like Seth, you've done your job here. Thank you. But like I said, I have an issue with Triple H in his long reign. Seth didn't need to have the title this long on a single reign. So give him the time off. Let someone else take it from here and let them go. Drew with the dominating, overwhelming victory here to kick off night 2 of WrestleMania.
Yeah, so a couple things. I agree with you, Carmen. I think this is going to start the show. This will be the first match on the card for night 2. Punk on commentary, I do agree with you because I don't think he is going to get involved because he has beef with both of them. And it's like, who are you going to actually let win, right? Who are you going to like get involved with to like benefit the other person? But yeah, I have Drew winning this as well. I'm with you. I think, hat trick for all of us. I think he should win. He deserves his moment in front of the crowd. He has had the best heel arc in a while because he uses logic, man. Everything he like does has a lot of merit to it, and like it has decent reasoning. So I'm all for that. I love it when WWE uses logic. Gets his moment. Initially, I was kind of pissed because we've seen this match so many times that Sammy wasn't included in this. They went a different route. I think I would have, highly recommend. I would have definitely wanted the triple threat match and have Sammy have this moment. But I hope it's a decent match. It's kind of like, Seth loses in the tag match. He loses his title, and it's just like we got to restore balance in WWE. But in doing so, I lose everything. I could see, and you're right. I don't know. I think it might have been Carmine, but have Seth lose, have Drew the next night attack Rollins, go get your surgery, go get healed. Drew will hold it down for a bit. He'll lose it to Punk at SummerSlam, and then Rollins and Punk after that. But that's going a little too far ahead. But yeah, Drew wins this. Hopefully it's a decent match. Hopefully Seth isn't too banged up here. And I'm excited for Punk on commentary. Like you just know he's gonna go off the script, man.
Who chose you?
I wish this was Punk and Rollins, man. I really do, and I think that was the plan all along. But yeah, yep, Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, I think CM Punk on commentary is going to be great. He's going to call out what he sees. He's not going to hold back, and especially now with Vince not or name redacted in his ear, I don't think he has anything to worry about. As you can see, Michael Cole and Pat are just having the time of their lives. I think CM Punk will add a lot more to this match. So I'm glad we all picked McIntyre because I really feel like that's the direction they're going. Just another thing added to the Monday Night Raw we just saw that you saw in the background for during a segment where it was Drew McIntyre talking to Paul Heyman. This might lead to something of night one where they just beat down Rollins so bad, like Drew McIntyre asked them, and then maybe something where it leads to Rollins is so hurt that McIntyre just takes advantage and completely dominates Rollins in the main event. I mean, in the first match of the show. A lot of stuff to look forward to this weekend at WrestleMania. So now we're moving on to match number 2. We have Io versus Bayley for the WWE Women's Championship. Now, like I said before, I think, if Rock wasn't around, I think Bayley should have main evented because I do believe Bayley is going to win this match. She's one of the 4 horsewomen that hasn't really gotten her due just yet. She's had championships victories before, but something of this caliber, especially like we've stated before on one of the biggest WrestleManias of all time in Philly, where you already know the crowd is going to be so behind her after the amazing run that she's just had. I think the Damage Control story has been so great with like how it started and now apparently how it's ending. And then hopefully after this, we'll probably see a rematch, but I like Dakota Kai a lot, but part of me kind of hopes they just push it to the side because I want to see a trio with Io, Asuka, and Kyrie, just them 3 just running rampant over the women's division. So I'm picking Bayley. I think she deserves it, and I think this is going to kickstart a great Bayley run on SmackDown. She has a lot of people who still hate her because of her previous antics. So I'm very much looking forward to Bayley capturing the women's championship here.
Yeah, I'm with you, Carmine. I think this is a straight up Bayley gets the win here. Io had a good run from SummerSlam to Mania. Triple H, that's an average one. And let's complete the story here, complete Bayley's story. Kind of like you said, she hasn't had that. She's won a title at Mania before, but it's never been that big one-on-one, prove that you were the better competitor that night kind of deal. I think this is just a simple, Bayley win over Io. You could continue to tell the Damage Control story to an extent after this, and like you said, Carmine, I think the tantalizing stories of who Bayley has done wrong before coming back for comeuppance now, I think could be good. Like, I don't necessarily want Bayley to be a face after this. Like, let her be in between, where like she's the good guy against Io and them. But if Bianca were to like whip Bayley with her hair in a segment, it's like, well, to be fair, they did mess with her a lot and screw with her a lot. So like you can't be mad at Bianca wanting retribution. So I think there's like something interesting you could do here with Bayley, and it all starts with the win here at Mania. She goes over here on night 2.
Yeah, hat trick. I'm going with Bayley on this one. I think the storyline's been great. I think it's been organic as well. Yeah, she deserves her moment at Mania. It's not going to be the main event, which I know a lot of people are saying she deserves to be the main event, at least for night 1. But like, The Rock's there. It's not going to happen, unfortunately. But yeah, I think you're right. I think she's been the most underappreciated, or like, I don't know a better term for that. Yeah, the most underappreciated of the 4 horsewomen. I think she's shown the most range in terms of like character wise in the 4 horsewomen, which I think should be applauded and should be looked into a lot more. Um, but yeah, I think hopefully it's a really good match. I think it's pretty difficult to have a bad match with Io. And yeah, I don't think this will be like the ending of the feud. I don't know if a trilogy will happen. I mean, it could be like the next pay-per-view, which would be Backlash. I don't know, WrestleMania Backlash, whatever the hell they're calling it. But yeah, I think Bayley deserves her moment. I think this is a great story for her to finish off. And yeah. The I'm trying to think here. Tweener, I think she basically because like she's now like she's kind of embraced the baby face role, Jurg, but I think she's so good at being like a trash talker and just saying everyone's an idiot. I think because like she's turned kind of baby face, I think Tweener is the correct way for her to go. Tweener / leaning towards baby face is probably going to be her route that she's going into. So yeah, I got Bayley winning. Hopefully it's a good match. I think it will be, but yeah.
So we're moving right along here to the newly added match that just happened on Friday Night SmackDown, where Rey Mysterio announced that his tag team partner is going to be Dragon Lee versus Dom and Santos Escobar. So last year we saw Dom and Rey have a great match where Rey Mysterio came out the victor. I was actually surprised that happened,
Yeah.
just a little bit, because I thought that feud would go on a little bit longer and then have Rey eventually win, give Dom the big win at WrestleMania. But this time around, I'll be honest, I think Dom and Santos are going to win this one. Rey Mysterio's had plenty of WrestleMania moments. Dom and Escobar need this win. Freaking mixed up win and victory. Just because Dom lost last year, and when Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar had the match, Rey won. So he's basically 2-0 against his team by himself. Dragon Lee's an up-and-coming star. He doesn't need the WrestleMania win this early in his career. So I'm giving this to Dom and Escobar. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because for me, I think this was just a given at this point. So what do you guys think?
I had no idea this was a match until you sent the rundown, Carmine. So
Yeah.
I'll just keep it simple. Sure, Dom and Santos, I don't care. The only thing I'm confused about is like, why make the hints with Andrade of like him wanting to talk to Dom, and the plot twist is not Andrade is helping out Rey, because I don't really get it. I don't like. I'm not high on Dragon Lee at all. I feel like he's just a placeholder to maybe eat the pin if they're not going to have Dom or Santos pin Rey. And even then, Andrade clears Dragon Lee in terms of someone I want to watch in the ring. So I don't really get the match itself. The heels can win; it does nothing for me, irregardless. Like, it's cool to technically have it on your resume that you won at Mania, but this is going to be in 20 years from now. Oh, forgotten WrestleMania matches, and not because it's a hidden gem; it's just because it was there. Like, I'm sorry, I'm just not hyped about this match at all.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a lot of people saying this should just be on SmackDown, which I kind of understand.
Yeah.
They had what's Santos's
Legado del Fantasma.
Yeah, so I don't understand why this isn't like a 5-on-5 scenario here, because
because I think they already have the faction match, which this has been unconfirmed as of right now. I think we're leading up to AOP and Karrion Kross versus Lashley and the Street Profits. One side will probably add Scarlett, the other side will probably be Fab, so it'll be like an intergender, 8-man matchup. So I think that's why they're saving that faction match for that.
I get it, but like, I don't know, man. If your objective is to put as many people on the card, and like this makes sense to have this match with this many people, then I don't know. I wouldn't mind just split the two. I don't understand, but whatever. I don't know. WWE is very odd in their way of thinking sometimes, but yeah, I mean, I just would have preferred a lot, like all of them to be in the ring at once. Like, and now there's a Carlito heel turn like looming.
Yeah, that looks like it's going.
Why is everyone just turning on Rey now?
I know he's the go-to guy whenever you need to turn heel. I think you're right. I really don't care for this match. I think Rey and Dom have been separated too much for me to care about their ongoing feud. I think they should have continued that after Mania. I thought maybe they would have done mask versus hair, because Dom's hair is like really long now, and I'm like, okay, maybe they're going that route.
But even then, like, Rey should win that, because I like.
Yeah,
cut Dom's hair off. It's trash. Like, it's not a good look on him.
But I think
unless that's his career finding, like his career.
It could be like a final match.
Rey gives up his mask in the end.
And then but I'm with you. I really don't care about this match. I hope it's decent. I think Dragon Lee, like, they just kind of just threw him in here. I don't know why. I know they're trying to make him like the next Rey Mysterio, because God knows every time they've tried that, it's worked out. But I got Dom and Santos Escobar winning this. I like Santos Escobar. I love his heel run. I think he's doing really good work. But I think they went off shenanigans. I think Carlito turns heel on Rey, and then Dom gets his Mania moment. Santos Escobar gets his, I think, necessary Mania moment as well, because I mean, if you're gonna make him one of your heels on SmackDown, he's gonna need some legitimacy and win a Mania. I think he should get the pinfall. I don't think he will. I think Dom might get the pinfall on Rey to kind of make up for last year, but whatever, he'll get the win regardless. Yeah, Dom and Santos Escobar win.
This is another reason why I think the whole brand split is a joke, because there's no implication where Dom should be anywhere near SmackDown. Finn Balor and Damian Priest, 100%. They're both the tag team champions. Rhea, I don't get it either, but like, they should, if you want to do this brand split just like we had back in the day, keep your superstars separately. Dom just showed up on SmackDown for no reason. He doesn't have a championship where he can go. I don't know. They need to definitely do something with the whole brand because it's clearly a joke at this point. Now we're gonna move on to arguably one of the best matches of this whole WrestleMania weekend. We have Gunther defending his Intercontinental Championship against Sami Zayn. Gunther's reign as IC champion has been so dominant. It's been one of the greatest reigns in the history of WWE. He broke the Honky Tonk Man's record, so he's on a generational run. Personally, I think it's time for it to go. I've tweeted about this before, and if you guys want to follow my social media, it's down below. I think the major focus needs to be on Imperium from now on. A couple weeks ago, Imperium defeated the New Day in just a regular street fight. It was good, very good match. They weren't even in contention for the ladder match. I don't know how that makes sense, but the New Day was, and clearly they're in the match. I have them winning the whole damn thing. But the focus needs to be on Imperium because ever since their NXT run, it looks like they've been a complete joke, honestly. So I have no idea what they're doing with that. I think the run for Gunther has been great, but I do think it's time for it to end. And I think Sami Zayn would be the perfect guy to pick up how good it was. And obviously, it doesn't need to be 600 days like Gunther's, but I think Sami Zayn would bring a lot more legitimacy to the title than we've seen before Gunther and The Miz and stuff like that, because the IC title would just used to be passed around like it was nothing. So I think now, in this new day and age, I think Sami Zayn is the right guy to do it. And also, I really don't want to see another Sami Zayn's success story, man. Like, I'm tired of him and WWE putting him in this place where, oh, he loses and he's down. He doesn't know what his future holds. We know what his future holds. He's a champion right now. I don't think he should have beat Roman at Elimination Chamber. I wasn't on that bandwagon. I love Sami, but I don't think he should have won. In this instance, I definitely think he should win. I think it's time for Gunther to lose it. Put all your major focus on Imperium like you guys should be doing. Build your stables back up because there's a lot of dominant stables in the WWE right now, and Imperium's definitely on the lower tier. It looks like Alpha Academy is getting way more TV time than they are, which is kind of ridiculous. But in my opinion, I think Sami Zayn is the perfect guy to beat Gunther. After this, I don't know who's going to do it. Maybe we'll see Sami Zayn and Gunther for the IC title later down the line. So that's what I'm hoping for. That's what I hope happens. And I think that's what we're leading to.
Yeah, this could be a show stealer just in general. This is just straight W for the Graps fans, like just pure Graps here. You're right. I think it's time for Gunther to head into the main event scene, and I think that's exactly where he's going to go after this match. I think he will win the Money in the Bank, spoiler alert, down the line. I wish this was Gunther versus Chad Gable instead because I think the story is there, and then same would be in the world title match. But for some reason, they didn't go that route. Again, questionable decision, but what do I know? I also don't know how Chad Gable kind of fits into all this because I don't know. I think he's gonna help Sammy, train Sammy, and it's just why? I mean, it doesn't make sense. You didn't win against Gunther, so what does it matter? I guess tweak your style. I don't know, but maybe this could have been better as a triple threat match with Gable involved as well. And maybe they actually no, it's too late to include him at this point. But show stealer for sure. Whether it's off shenanigans or not, I think Sammy wins this. I think Sammy deserves to win. I think Gunther's IC title reign is what they think Roman Reigns' title reign is. I think Gunther's has been absurdly better than his. That's been the working champion, one of the best wrestlers in the company. And yeah, I think Sammy's the one to dethrone him because if it's not Sammy, then who? Right? It's kind of gotten to a point where he's gonna surrender the title. And if you're gonna make Gunther lose, it has to be at Mania because he has final boss aura. So yeah, I think the underdog wins here. Might not be clean because you want to protect Gunther, which I think they might go that route. But if they do go the clean route where Sammy beats him like that, that would be pretty stunning as well, and that would be huge for Sammy. Yeah, Sammy wins this in an all-time classic, and that's 2 back-to-back Manias where Sammy gets a really good moment, so I'll be happy for that. And you're right, Carmen, I think to carry off the great legitimacy that Gunther has brought to the IC title, Sammy, I think, would bring, the same level of importance to that IC title as well. So yeah, I got Sammy winning this.
I have Gunther winning.
It's fair.
I think that if he's not immediately going to win the world championship,
Okay. Yeah.
Why take this off him now?
Because what are you going to do with him for until he wins, right?
Because the stupidest thing in the world will be to give him a filler feud or two until he gets his world championship shot. I think the time to beat Gunther is not this year's WrestleMania, but next year's WrestleMania. And we know Triple H loves telling a long story, and we know that they love repeating stories. You could give Sammy the moment next year when he faces Gunther for one of the world titles. And I think right now, if I had to give a early pencil it in moment, I would say that would be it. Because I just again, this is the test of someone's ability here. If they could prove us wrong and they have Sammy win this and they could still make it make sense for whatever Gunther does post Mania, cool. But I just don't see a storyline that makes any sense for Gunther to go into, because you can't have him rematch for the title, because then how are you going to book for him to not get it back? Like, I think you're getting yourself into a situation here where you have this precious commodity. He has never been pinned since he's gotten to the main roster. He's never been submitted. Maybe he's been eliminated from Royal Rumble or whatever, but it's been to the guy who's about to win the main strap. And it's also not by pinfall. I think Gunther's whole gimmick of the mat is sacred and one-on-one, nobody can beat me and nobody can mess with me. I think it would be, not that it would fall flat. It's going to be amazing no matter what, but I think it would mean more if it's for the world title. And I think that, unlike with Roman's reign carrying on last year, I think there is still a little bit to tell where even if you are going to have Gunther eventually drop this and take the first pin, I think it should have been Gable. I'm sorry, but Sammy just doesn't do it for me as being the guy to take this away from Gunther. It just doesn't. And I think Gunther winning this, and like you said, Chris, maybe he trades this in for a future championship shot or a spot in the Money in the Bank, because, merit-based, who in this company, aside from the guys who are in world championship matches right now, deserves to be in a world championship match more than anyone else? If Jinder Mahal can just be given a world championship match on Raw, Gunther can be given a championship match whenever it should be deemed. So, I just don't see it happening here. I think there's a little bit more you could do with it, or at least a different way to tell the story. And I don't think you need to tell that story by having Gunther lose here. I have Gunther beating Sammy at this year's Mania. But at least in my mind, Sammy would get his back a year from now. So is that what they'll do? Probably not. But I think there's always talk of what should be done. I'm not going to say they should do that, because I've not been in the business for 10, 15, 20 plus years. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just a talking head, a faceless voice here in the void. So I have Gunther winning.
I just don't know. That's a good take from both of you guys. I just don't know if Gunther ends up keeping the Intercontinental Championship. I just don't know where else he can go with it. We've seen the Gable match. If after this, we've seen the Sami Zayn match. Maybe have a potential feud, like Chris alluded to earlier, with maybe Jey Uso. But it's also, I don't know, man, because the big match, maybe we'll have a match at Bash at the Berlin, because you already know Gunther is not losing in his home country. We're done with that. People like to win in their home country now. So we don't know what's going to happen with that either. I think this is a good time, just because we can have Gunther feud with somebody else, not for the title. So if he does lose, it's not for one of those major things. I think that Gunther is in a similar situation with Roman and Rhea Ripley, where if they have to lose, it has to be at a major show. And I just don't see Gunther holding that championship for yet another year. I think now would be the perfect time, because just say we do get Punk and Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania.
Yeah, where does he fit in there?
But that's what I'm saying. So if Punk because this is what I think might happen. Okay, let me just fantasy book for the future. Let me see. I want to see what you guys think about this, because we have time a little bit. Punk defeats McIntyre at SummerSlam, wins the world title, feuds with him for a little while longer for his rematch, stuff like that. Gunther wins the Rumble next year. Main event WrestleMania, Punk, Gunther. That's where Gunther wins the world title. What do you guys think?
No, I don't think it's going to happen. I think he's primed to win the title, the world title in the summer. I think he wins it at Bash at Berlin.
Gunther feels like someone you need to win the Rumble to face. It doesn't It doesn't feel like he's someone that needs to win the Rumble.
He's a final boss.
So you think that he's going to defeat McIntyre?
I don't know. No, I don't know.
I think he'll beat Punk. I think Punk is like, look,
Punk ain't holding the title for that long either.
For what we want to say and what people think about CM Punk, he has never been one to, well, aside from his prime run when he held the title for 434 days and should have held it longer, like, he has not been one to say I should be the world champion for a year, 2 years, etc. Like him dropping the title to Gunther, and whenever you want to make it, I don't know when the next bash happens. I don't know if it's before or after SummerSlam.
I think it's before September.
Oh, it might be.
Okay, so maybe that, or maybe Survivor Series, like having Gunther win it. That's why I'm saying, like, having Gunther relinquish the title and just biding his time and waiting. I think that's because I want to see, like, this man legitimately be undefeated, then wins the World Heavyweight Championship. Then it means you have to be at your A game to stop him. And that's why I have the angle of Sammy getting his redemption a year later of I'm better, I'm smarter, well, I don't know about stronger, but, like, I will beat you. I think that's the way, like, and even if they don't do it, even again, if Sammy wins this here, like Gunther winning the Rumble now, it just feels like one of those things where you need to give him this accomplishment to make it happen. It's like in the 2K games, you just give someone a strap because you think they deserve. Like Gunther could never win a Rumble, and it's not because he doesn't deserve it. It's because he feels like the type that you should be winning the Rumble to face him. He's the champion. He's not a contender you beat along the way. He is the guy. He is the guy.
If you're also talking like kayfabe and you're talking what we see on television, Gunther entered the Rumble with the IC title, which means he wanted the double titles. I'm talking out of like scripting head. If you're just watching wrestling as a television show, you think, damn, Gunther's going to be a double champion. You know what I mean? I predicted him to win this and then lose it before WrestleMania. But I don't know, man. Like, it's going to be very interesting because if Gunther, because that's the thing, just say he does lose now, or just say he wins. I wonder who his next step is. Because if he wins, who's going to challenge him? If he loses, who's going to challenge him? He's at that role where it's like he doesn't even need the title to be amazing. Everybody knows how dominant he is.
You know what I mean? I don't know. I
have no idea.
It's not a good. Yeah,
I want him to keep the streak. Like I think there's no reason to have it lost here.
Well, to be honest, the ideal opponent for him would have beaten him that I think would have been believable and would have been good would have been Braun Breaker.
Probably,
but he's on SmackDown. You see,
I know. I mean which is to me dumb because they're just putting all the talent on SmackDown. You need someone on Raw. But look, okay, I just looked it up. Bash in Berlin is after SummerSlam. So what I think is going to happen is he wins the Money in the Bank, in the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. He announced he's gonna cash in because he's not really a chicken shit heel, right? And he's gonna be like, I'm Bash in Berlin. My hometown is where I face for the title, and he wins it there. I do not think he's gonna wait till Mania to win.
And you think he's going to challenge either Punk or Cody?
Yeah, one of those two.
If he challenges Cody,
that's fine too. Because I think
he
could win. I think I'll have him as the favorite for either of those. I think he could end either reign. And I think Punk would have I don't know if Punk is going to have the title by then.
That's what I'm saying. He's gonna. It's also like it's only 2 months after that. What did you say? It was September?
No, end of August.
The end of August. So when is SummerSlam? July?
Yeah, it's July now.
Beginning August 3rd, and then Bash in Berlin is August.
Yeah, 3rd, there's no. So that'd be very weird.
Poor Charles. Poor member.
No, but then he could just challenge Cody. Because who the hell's going to be Cody? He's your next face. I mean, it's got to be.
Damn, Cody's only going to hold that championship for like what 4 or 5 months.
That's fine. That's fine. That's literally fine.
Like. I'm saying this, like the guys that win it at these 2 nights of Mania, I don't want either of them to have the title by the end of the year. Like Triple H is making people sick of long title reigns. Like this is why I'm saying he's not perfect as a booker. He's better than name redacted, and he's better than other bug-eyed weirdos that can run their own companies. But those are not high bars. You've turned me off of people holding championships for 6, 8, 7 months because you have everyone do it. How many people have had at least a year-long title reign? I'm talking main roster, not NXT. How many people have had at least a year-long title reign?
Rhea, Gunther, Roman.
I know you could say Roman is inherited, but he still has a choice there.
Roman's had it since we were in college.
It's kind of felt like the judgment. It's kind of felt like the Judgment Day have had it for a year.
Right, Seth's about to be a year almost.
Seth, wow. And didn't he inherit Bianca's reign?
Oh yeah, Bianca. No, I don't know if he did, but I know Bianca held it for a bit.
But at least he was there for maybe but it's like. But at least Bianca, she held it past the year. We thought she was going to lose it to Asuka last year, but she didn't at Mania. She lost it after that. So it's like...
Io's held it for almost a month, year too.
Ever since he has been either that full head of creative, no issue, or in theory is there, and then realistically power plays are happening, etc. Like, let's just say late 2022, early 2023, right? 5 people have had a reign that's at least 9 or 10 months, and most of them have go over a year.
Yeah.
That, and you're not getting anyone over as stars underneath them to be able to realistically take it. At least not a big amount of people. I don't know. Like, it's one of these flaws. I know I've kind of harped at him a little bit here, but this needs to be fixed.
Yeah, I think they're all about right now, and like, because like, listen, Bruno, Hogan, all those guys, Honky Tonk Man, they were in the 90s and 80s and 70s. Like, we're trying to see what's happening right now. That was almost 50 years ago, bro. Almost, obviously 40, 30, whatever. We're getting to the point where nobody cares about the past. They care about what's going on right now. And if we're seeing, that's why people talk about how Roman could be one of the greatest of all time. I know Chris said he's not in his top 10, but
it's just fact that he's not.
Yeah, I'm just speaking broad. So, like, if you see a title reign that Roman's had for over 2,000 days or whatever, 1,600 days or whatever it is, that's phenomenal, regardless if he wrestles a lot or not. If you just see someone holding that belt for that a long time, you're like, wow, what is this guy doing? Same thing with Gunther, over 600 days. Rhea, almost a year or over a year. It's just like they're more about making history now. And I'm not going to say totally forgetting about the past, but I think they're more worried about right now, like what's going on in wrestling right now. Wrestling's hot right now.
True, but I would say the thing with the thing with it back then is that there's no social media, there's not even TV. Like it was different in the territories where a guy could defend a title for 2 months in Memphis, and then he goes away still with the championship, but he'll be in Florida for 2 months. Then he'll be in New York for 2 months. Like, the people aren't sick of it. I don't want to say I'm sick of Roman because I don't want to sound like the typical, tired person on the internet. Like, that's not the reason. I'm sick of it because, like, if wrestling is going to continue to be hot, you need to have more names come up and be.
You need to build stars, man.
Like, the bottom is gonna what's the quote here that I'm totally gonna butcher? But like, the bottom is gonna fall out of the barrel at some point. Like, there's going to be a crash here again. Nothing stays up forever. Like, and if you're going to do this, like, get people over. And I'm not talking about just winning matches. I'm talking about push them as stars, make them feel important, make them feel relevant. They're kind of lackluster on a lot of those things right now, no matter what your opinion on some of these guys is.
It's gonna be very interesting to see what the future holds for all these championships. So let's move right along here. We're gonna go to Damage Control versus Jade, Bianca, and Naomi. This is Jade's first ever WWE match. She looked phenomenal on SmackDown with her presentation, everything else. So I'm not gonna keep too much longer on this. I think Jade, Bianca, and Naomi are definitely taking the victory here in Jade's first matchup.
Yeah, this is gonna be quick. Hat trick. They're winning. You're not having Jade lose in her first match. I think she'll have like the highlight spots, the hot tag, of course, and yeah, for sure. Naomi, Bianca, and Jade win. Bianca improves the WrestleMania record as well, but I think Jade wins, gets the pin here as well, just to make her look strong and like she actually gets her first moment. So yeah,
correct. Yep, hat trick. Jade gets the pin. Bianca, I think, stays undefeated at Mania, if I'm not mistaken.
Which I do think WrestleMania undefeated Mania records. I want them to be a thing again, dude.
Facts. We need to bring those back.
Yeah. Because it just needs to be the right person.
She's the right person.
Yep. Yeah,
she already has she's won 2 championships over. What was it? She beat Sasha. And who was the other one?
Becky.
Oh, that's right. Oh, there you go.
So
there you go. Rhea might have one as well. Charlotte and Becky.
Bro, if they turn Bianca heel and make her a heel champion,
I feel like you can't. She's too nice.
Stop.
I know you can, but
she's
a baby face. Like it's tough.
But she was a heel in NXT.
Yeah,
and that was.
Better in NXT. She's getting like really insane reactions.
Unless
I just don't think she turns heel. I don't know. I just can't see it.
This is why I have an issue with the fans, because if we can't continue to like make these people important, but like at the same time not have to cheer for them, we've screwed up the business as wrestling fans. Like,
I mean, it's been screwed up, but no. I also think because like she could, it's hard to like for example, like what was it when she faced EO Internet? Was it in Puerto Rico and they were all for
Backlash?
EO. It's just like it's kind of like the Cena treatment. It's like there's no point in turning heel because you're already gonna get divided responses. Like
she's gonna get that Cena treatment here soon when no one wants her to win anything because she's just the smiley happy baby face and all that. Like, no, you can't do that anymore.
Wonder what the reaction is gonna be when she faces Stratton 1-on-1.
Oh, good lord.
You're definitely going to have a 50-50 divided crowd on that one.
I think Strand's gonna get mostly cheered.
You know what I would like? I mean, she was great in AEW as a heel. I'm if you want to capitalize on how big her star power is, a Jade heel turn at Mania. I don't know because Charlotte's coming back soon. Charlotte's obviously gonna get a great reaction.
Yeah,
She's gonna get booed after 3 weeks though.
Yeah, I think that she's like everyone's tired of her. I will say this before we move on because I mean we have another match to talk about next year. Rumor has it that it's going to be Minnesota for Mania.
Yeah.
That sucks. I'm sorry. Oh God.
No, they deserve one.
Yeah.
Who's from Minnesota?
Tiffany Stratton. That's the thing. So I think she's going to get the main event spot. She's going to win the title for sure.
There's a certain other name redacted.
There is somebody else there that everybody's been talking about.
And ladies and gentlemen, he's coming back.
He might. And
wait, who are you guys talking about?
We'll talk about it in a second. So we're moving on to our main event here. We've been doing hat tricks all day, and I guarantee you we might all hit another hat trick on this one.
Yes,
our main event of WrestleMania night number 2 is Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns, a rematch from last year for the WWE Undisputed Championship. Now, this one has a lot of implications from night 1. Cody and Rollins win, fair game, 1-on-1. Rock and Roman win, it's bloodline rules. We all predicted that Rock and Roman would win, so bloodline rules. This is where the Avengers are going to show up. We're going to get a nice brawl here. Cody's going to finish his story. I firmly believe Cody Rhodes is going to win. He's finally going to conquer it. He's going to defeat Roman Reigns. Roman's going to go on a nice hiatus, eventually come back and just raise hell once again. Now, the guy that we were just talking about, there's been rumors going around that Brock Lesnar could be coming back.
What?
So
I can't tell if Chris is working us or not.
No, I swear to God, I didn't hear this.
There's a lot of talk where we've seen camera angles of potentially Cena coming out, Stone Cold coming out and helping out Cody. Yep. There's a history between Cody and Brock, that little trios match. They shook hands out of respect. Regardless, Brock Lesnar is a massive name. I obviously don't support stuff. If it is true outside of the WWE, it's horrible. I don't support any of that. If they do bring him back, people who don't know what happened and that aren't in the know will see him. There'll be a huge reaction, huge pop. It'll be Cody Rhodes and his Avengers versus the Bloodline. It's going to be a massive moment. The Rock might turn on him. Stone Cold might come back. Rollins may end up helping. McIntyre might come out. We have no idea what's going to happen on night 2. I'm very much looking forward to this. And I do think Cody's going to walk out with the Undisputed Championship, finish his story, and then go on a generational run like I think he deserves. So we're actually going to start with Jurg. Actually, let's start with Chris on this one because I want to get his take on what I just said and what the overall synopsis of this whole match is. So, Chris, what do you think's going to happen, man?
Okay, I did not hear about the Lesnar rumors at all. I don't want that to happen, nor would it make sense for him to pull up. What the fuck does Lesnar have to do with this at all? The Avengers thing pulling up, I thought it just pertained to Cena and Stone Cold, which I'm okay with. Lesnar should stay far and away from WWE as much as possible. We don't need him, never needed him. Please, I wouldn't rather not. Let him stay in the redacted era. There's no reason to bring Lesnar back. Just what the fuck? Okay. I remember, they've been going down this route, Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns too, for basically since after the Monday Night Raw after last year's WrestleMania, where Heyman didn't say WrestleMania in terms of when Cody get his rematch, and I was like, oh God, I don't like year-long rematches when you kind of know it's when it's predictable. But yeah, this is gonna be Cody Rhodes winning. He should win. I think Roman winning would set the industry back years. I think he needs to fuck off for a bit after this loss that he's for sure going to take. It's not like I see him full time anyway. So what does it make a difference if he wins or loses at this point from an appearance standpoint? But yeah, Cody needs to win. I think it would be hugely detrimental to just his aura and his presence and his character if he loses here. The story needs to be finished. I think he is your face of the company at this point, right? He's the guy. He needs to win the championship now. It's either now or never. Because if not, then what have we been doing the last 2 years? He should have won last year, did not win. So yeah, Cody wins. I think it's going to be no rules, right? It's going to be bloodline rules because Roman and Rock win, as we think. So There's going to be no rules. Going to be just an absurd amount of shenanigans. Overbooked up the wazoo. I do not care that it's going to be overbooked. Solo's going to get involved. Jimmy's going to get involved. I think Cena's going to make his way there, and Stone Cold's going to make his way there. There's been too much flirting. I hope
Jay might get involved.
Jay might get involved. Seth might get involved. I don't see Drew get involved. I think Drew's going to win his title, and like that's it. But then and I think it's just going to go all over the place, and it's going to end with The Rock turning on Roman, and then Cody wins with the Prime logo in the middle, of course. And then that's going to be, Cody wins. He gets his moment. He deserves it. Roman, I think he will be gone for a bit. I think at least until SummerSlam or Survivor Series. I think SummerSlam the earliest actually was when he'll come back. But
we're forgetting about maybe I know next year it looks like it might be Rock and Roman, but I want to see Punk and Roman, man. That's like I didn't get my Punk and Omega. I want my Punk and Roman match.
Yeah,
we're gonna get Punk and McIntyre. We're getting Punk and Rollins.
Let's hope. Let's get Punk and Rollins first. Let's get Punk healthy. That's the thing.
One at a time.
Well, we're getting Punk and McIntyre first, man. I could definitely see that.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's just get Punk healthy first. That boy needs some rehab.
Needs icy hot. Man up.
It's man. But Cody wins this one. I do not care if it's over. It's one of those instances, Jurg, where I said like the spectacle supersedes the match. They had a good match they had a great match last year, and I know they could have a good match. At this point, because of the parties involved with The Rock, possibly Cena, possibly Stone Cold, and everyone else, bro, overbook the shit out of it. Give me an Avengers Endgame type of ending. I do not care. I am willing. I just want to seeing Stone Cold, John Cena, and The Rock in one ring, physically involved, would be insane.
This may have more of a spectacle vibe than night one.
For sure.
If all that happens, though.
For sure. Yeah. And I think they would nail it. Like maybe Punk might even come out at this point. Who cares? That would be great, but I don't think he will.
Probably not.
I'm all for this just being just an absolute overbooked, party. Do not care. But Cody winning needs to be the final result. It can't be otherwise. It cannot be otherwise. I'm sorry. And then this reign of terror is finally over from Roman that has been devoid of allowing the WWE to build up new stars. I think it's just been too much at this point. And I think the bloodline is dissolved. Doesn't need to go anywhere further. Jay wins. Jimmy goes his own way. I don't know what you do with Solo. I don't care what you do with Solo because he's just been nothing to me. Roman will go off into the sunset. Your reign is over. I mean, what more can we want? And then Cody is finally officially the face of this company.
Which means he's moving to SmackDown.
Don't care. Don't mind it. I don't care. Just let him get the title at this point. Jurg?
Is it wrong that I have the PTSD that they might just do it to us again?
I was there. I really was there.
Please tell me I'm not the only one.
No, you're. I'm not. You're not wrong, bro. But the writing's on the wall. They can't fuck it up.
Yes. No. Cody wins. Like you guys said, this is where again. I know I've said his name so many times in this one, but this is his first proper one because the old name redacted man was still there last year, still pulling the strings in the back, just like that one fan said in the background of that one Punk promo. Who's pulling the strings? No, this is straight up fully Triple H's show. This is his first bona fide guaranteed. You are in charge of Creative Mania, and this is your Sistine Chapel. This is your masterpiece between these two nights, and this is the last one. There have been, you mentioned it, Chris. You guys have both made references to Endgame. I've heard people make comparisons and the little hints of the Infinity War and Endgame. Didn't Seth come out in a red and gold thing on Raw within the last few weeks, or maybe it was on SmackDown? Whereas it's supposed to be a symbol. We're talking Cena, we're talking Stone Cold. My God. We're talking the other Usos, both Usos coming out, which is part of the reason why I have Jimmy winning, because I think it adds more urgency with Jay coming out to stop Jimmy.
Okay.
Hey, this is our last chance, because think about it. Seth and Cody lose night one. Jay loses night one. There's one match left to take everything away from these guys, to take everything away. So you have them coming out. You have them, and for Cena coming out, especially because they put Solo over Cena at the Saudi show.
That's right. Okay.
Now, listen. Do I count those as canon most of the time? No.
Me neither.
The fact of the matter is that Solo has a win over Cena in his career, and like it would make sense to where Cena doesn't even need to touch The Rock. Like Cena can handle Solo. Stone Cold handles The Rock.
Oh my God, bro! Stone Cold and The Rock is gonna be
just trading blows, man.
And like, here's the thing: like, yes, we're kind of fantasy booking, we're kind of being marks here, but at the end of the day, like, this is the kind of overbook thing that we will accept because the names are there, the stars are there, and the story.
Not to mention, this is WrestleMania, where like all the major stuff. This is the biggest show of the year in wrestling.
It's a season finale. It's a season finale.
It doesn't matter what company it is. It's the biggest show in wrestling. I love AEW, but they're never gonna have a show as big as this.
Oh, 100%. But like you guys just said, and you pointed out right there, Carmine. I hate it. Only in very certain circumstances does it work. I hate it when stories continue after Mania. Yeah. This should be the end of this story. Mm-hmm. If Cody somehow loses, just a retire, bro. But no, this is where Cody wins. He finally gets the victory. He goes over Roman. And like you guys said, give Roman 4 months, even half a year off. Rock is not going to be around forever because we know his schedule is going to get jam-packed very much again soon. I'm sure he's doing stuff like going back to Hollywood, and he has a fledgling football league he has to pretend to pay attention to. Like, there's various little things here that has to happen to where Rock's not going to be there full time. Like, I'm here for this rendition of things ending for Roman, and when he comes back as the Mad King, to where he's lost everything, it's like the song by Coldplay, "Viva La Vida," where it's like talking about an emperor, like the semblance of like an emperor who's lost everything. Roman's empire falls, everyone is gone, he feels alone, and he starts to feel the pressure, and he just cracks. I want him to beat the shit out of both Usos when he comes back. I want him to bloody Solo, and I want at Survivor Series or even do like a fun end of the year thing, have him beat up and spear The Rock through something, blaming him for him losing his title, and that's where you do Rock versus Roman for next year. I want the Mad King who is just completely off his rocker, losing his mind. Remember when Shawn lost at the Rumble, like when he was trying to challenge the Undertaker? Super kicked the ref, super kicked everyone. Like, he just absolutely lost it. He interfered in the chamber. I want that kind of thing, but turn it up to 11. Make it to where Roman is unstable, to where everything is in jeopardy, and it has to be The Rock that comes back to tranquilize things once and for all.
So you don't have The Rock turning on Roman this year?
No,
because it's like if you're gonna have Austin and Cena come back, there's no point in The Rock turning on Roman.
Because also here's the thing: I was never a fan of The Rock touching Roman. I think Cody needs to win this with no one else touching Roman. The finishing blow needs to be hit by Cody and Cody alone. I don't want a steel chair to Roman followed by 3 crossroads, which hit 1 for fuck's sakes, Cody. Stop with the whole 3 thing. Like, I don't want that. I want Cody to hit the finishing blow, because the thing is that Rock knows how to make fun of people, but he could still be quote unquote the face. I still don't know if Roman can do that. So I think the safer bet is to where Roman comes back later in the year and he beats up The Rock, a la what Rock just did to Cody, where you hear Roman blaming The Rock. You cost me my title because you wanted to get involved, because you don't understand that just because you're you means nothing. I'm the tribal chief and all that. I'm the head of the table and all that. That's how I think you should book it. Rock Roman, to me, I have no interest in seeing a face Roman Reigns go over a heel Rock. I have way more interest seeing a mega heel Roman Reigns going up against The Rock, who he doesn't need to be all-out babyface promoting his Terramana and his terrible movies and all that, but at least a Rock to where we'll cheer for him against Roman again, but he'll still make fun of Roman, and he'll still have all the creative freedom he wants in the world. Like, heel Rock has been amazing. He should be able to do this stuff as a face. He's done it before. It's just him caring. I think he should be able to bring it. Yes, that was on purpose there. For that as well. But I don't want Rock turning on Roman because I don't want... You could think I'm talking too much old school. I don't give a fuck. I want the guy who's supposed to win get the final move on his own. I don't want an interference to happen. Excuse me. I don't want an interference to happen before the final move is what I mean. Like, I know we're going to get 70 million people interfering in this match, but I want Cody to beat Roman as is, and you can tell the story from there.
Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna happen. To be honest, I think they're just gonna.
No, most definitely not. But
Yeah.
I can dream
For sure. I think The Rock turns face by turning on Roman, so I think you'll get your wish in that regard. It'll still be heel Roman.
On Roman.
Sunday night. Exactly.
I agree with Jurg though. I want Cody to, obviously give Roman whatever he deserves in the kayfabe sense, but I want Cody to finish it by himself. Like, have Austin and Cena and Rock take out everybody, so it's just down. Even Heyman stays there just to make the facial expressions. Like, just have Cody in the middle of the ring, right? One last time, trading blows. Something turns into a crossroads. The fucking crowd ovation if Cody Rhodes wins is going to go down in history. It's kind of like that Daniel Bryan WrestleMania 30.
They can't blow this, man. They can't blow this.
They just got to do it.
I think they're aware.
Through. Aware. You guys have anything else to say about the whole WrestleMania card?
Yes, I do. So some news here.
Okay.
Austin Theory on Twitter posted a video of him and Grayson Waller. I'm not playing it because we're recording a podcast, but an hour ago, we were so motivational and on our way, man. Grayson quote tweeted it saying A-Town Down Under is the best tag team in the world, -WON, which is Wrestling Observer newsletter, which is the Dave Meltzer thing. So they took shots at him, and
of course
I think they're confirming that they're going to be in the match. So
yeah,
good.
So once again, Meltzer is wrong.
He's been wrong pretty consistently. So I'm very glad. Yeah. I'm very glad. So
I do want to say before Carmine, I think night 2. Yeah, they have a lot of pressure because night 1, ever since they've been splitting up the Manias, has been
the better show,
slaughtering night 2, and I don't know. Are these confirmed? Like the nights, the match?
I put this card together based off how I think. But last year's night 2 was good just because I'll tell you this: Gunther has the chance to go back to back with best cards of the whole weekend. Last year we had Gunther, McIntyre, Sheamus. We have Gunther and Zayn this year, so he's doing double duty.
No, for sure, but I don't know. Night 1 was the world's better just in general. Well, night 2 was just not good in my opinion. It was okay, but besides that match,
I also think night 1 just because also like it was the first one. You know what I mean? You already know what to expect in night 2. Like, man, we got Rhea and Charlotte tag team match. What was the other one? Was that Cena and Theory?
Cena and Theory was night 2.
Night 2.
Yeah, Ray versus Dominic was night 1. I think the showcase the men's showcase.
Match. I think Rollins and Logan were night 1 also.
Was it? Yeah, it might have been night 2. I don't know, but I just know that night 1 has just been worlds better than night 2. So there's pressure. Yeah, there's pressure now because if Cena and Stone Cold come out night 2, we might just forget about everything in general.
It's a game changer.
So yeah, that's
well, we're definitely getting Rollins and McIntyre and Cody and Roman on night 2 regardless. That's what Rollins said in the promo. So 2 world title matches on night 2. We know that's happening. Night 1 will be Rock and Roman versus Cody and Rollins. So that was our WrestleMania predictions. I do have one final question for you boys, and that is what match out of this whole WrestleMania weekend will steal the show in your own opinion? So, Jurg, we'll start off with you because I think I know where Chris is going.
I mean, I might be going the same way with him. I think if we're talking about stealing the show, I think it's got to be Sammy and Gunther.
Okay.
Like if you want me to give a silver medal, I think Becky and Rhea might be the best women's match that we've seen since Rhea and Charlotte last year. But I think number 1 has got to be Sammy versus Gunther.
Chris?
Yeah, I think I got Sammy versus Gunther. I think I'm a sucker for ladder matches, though. I think that ladder match could steal the show just because there's 12 men in the ring. Like it's hard to fuck that up. So there's gonna be bound to be some spots. But yeah, I mean, all right. If you want me to just change it up, I'll let Jurg have Sammy Gunther. I'm gonna go with the ladder match.
Ladder match. Okay, so we were about to do a hat trick because I was gonna pick Gunther and Sami Zayn again, but I'll be different.
Do you want me to change it?
No. I'll be different as well. I'm gonna go out, I guess, on a dark horse. I might just pick Jimmy versus Jay. Just because I feel like they've been wrestling as kids. They're brothers. They grew up. They beat the shit out of each other. I'm very much assuming. So they know we've been wanting to have this match since we were like 5 years old. So I guarantee you they'll pull out some of the coolest, the best out of each other. Because like imagine versing your brother at WrestleMania. You guys have to pull out all the craziest spots. Not sure how much time they're gonna get, but I think that's gonna be the show stealer. So I think I'm glad we all have 3 different ones. So do you guys have anything else to say before I wrap this bad boy up?
Hey man, this is the showcase of the immortals, as they used to call it. I don't know when the last time they called it that was, but this is where legacies get made and begin, and also where they can be cemented. Let's just have a great 2 nights, and let's have the best WrestleMania in recent memory.
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback off of what Jurg just said. Like we've been stating all show, is that this WrestleMania has the chance to be the best WrestleMania, arguably of all time. With this card, I know I'm living in the moment right now. You still have WrestleMania 20, like 22, WrestleMania 20. You have 17, all the great WrestleManias before. So I appreciate everybody watching this podcast, letting us give you our predictions for this great card. Jurg, we'll start off with you. Tell the people what you got going on.
I just be around. No, me and the guys recently on the Sports Agents of Chaos, we're back in the fold. It took us a little bit because schedules are tough. One of the guys on the show is a parent. They're a dad now. It's not me. Well, he's been a dad for a bit, but and so you can follow us. Well, we don't have a social media page yet, but you can find us on YouTube at the Sports Agents of Chaos podcast, where we go at least once a week. We have our big 3-round NFL mock draft coming up, which we're extremely excited about. This is going to be the 3rd year in a row we've done it, and I think it's going to be one of arguably our best one yet, is what I think. I think me and the boys are ready to have another great mock this year over at the SAOC YouTube channel, and also goes live on my Twitter at JurgK40.
Yeah, I got nothing. Just subscribe to Carmine's channel and watch whatever Jurg's making.
Quick and easy. I like it. I appreciate you boys getting on. Same as usual. I know I alluded to this in a video at the beginning of this podcast, but this will be the last podcast for the foreseeable future. I want to do something with this channel where I put out a lot more videos than my just reaction and podcasting. I want to move strictly to video format as well, because I know you guys don't want to just listen and watch the screen for pictures and slideshows. You guys want to see our mannerisms and stuff like that. So I'm going to try to move to video format, as well as doing different types of wrestling videos. I have a couple of fantasy booking articles that I might just read out and just put videos so you guys can enjoy that as well. So as always, I appreciate everybody watching and listening, and I hope you guys look forward to WrestleMania this year.